I don't want to take over the whole server. I want all of us to take over the whole server.
The Eggpire is an alliance between Bad Boy Halo, Antfrost, Puns, Punk, Hannah, XX Rose, and Skeppy. The alliance was formed on January 14th, 2021 during a roundtable between the founders Bad Ant, Puns, and Captain Puffy, who had since left in order to become more powerful. The keystone of the alliance is the egg, which is meant to be a source of chaos and a way to subdue the rest of the server. Despite the Eggpire being formed as a military coalition by Bad with Ant, Puffy, and Puns, most members of the Eggpire have joined due to being corrupted by the egg. After the Red Banquet made all members of the Eggpire go into hiding, the Eggpire as a faction would go inactive as the egg itself would be contained by Awesome Dude. Formation. History. Formation. On January 14th, 2021, Bad Boy Halo created a roundtable with Antfrost, Captain Puffy, and Puns having the egg as the main discussion point. The group agreed that the spread was becoming a problem. However, Bad Boy Halo proposed that they release it with the main points being that the Badlands needed chaos and that there was no major conflict since Lamanberg was destroyed. Aware of the mesmerizing powers of the egg, he argued that it was the ideal source of chaos and that they could find a way afterward to fight its power. After visiting the egg to see its current state, the group returned to the round table, where Bad invited Puns and Captain Puffy to join them in the Badlands. He added that if both of them joined, they'd be powerful enough to not only to defend their current territory, but also take over the server. Puffy was hesitant because she realized Bad Boy Halo was trying to become a tyrant, but after he explained that all in the new empire would all have equal say, she agreed to weakly ally with them as long as they destroyed the egg in the end. They decided to name the group the Eggpire, a name suggested by Puns. On the same day, they broke down the obsidian enclosure of the egg and allowed it to spread. Pun's eyes turned red with corruption, and he said that he loved the power of the egg. Puffy was still unsure, so Bad showed her the exposed egg. Puffy agreed, but felt as though she had no other choice. She expressed in her captain's log she didn't know what to do. To further advance the spread of the vines, the members planted blood seeds on the bottom of the canyon. After their first tasks, they traveled to Church Prime to have an official meeting and disband for the day. After the others left, Bad revealed that he was infected by the egg, showing that his normal skin was a disguise, and his true self lost its red accents and corruption. In addition, Puffy revealed she didn't trust the Eggpire and only allied with it in order to stop the destruction and chaos caused by their plans. Days after the formation, Bad Boy Halo began spreading propaganda throughout the server composed of fan art submitted by various viewers. Bad also tried to recruit Foolish by showing him the egg without a hazmat suit. However, Foolish did not feel attraction towards the egg and thought that Bad was just crazy. Next meeting. After the disconfrontation, Antfrost changed to his corrupted skin, revealing he was also completely infected. Believing him to be trustworthy, Puffy complained about the egg to him, but realized her mistake and convinced him she was pro-egg by helping them find a meeting spot. However, she wrote in her book, Mission Undercover Egg, showing she resolved to completely against the egg. The group then held a meeting to discuss the next plan, establishing a meeting room and considering killing Arid due to the kingship. However, the group was met by opposition from Sam. Ann and Bad tried to trick him to go down to the egg, but Puffy managed to warn him by playing dumb and asking why he wasn't wearing a hazmat suit. Sam managed to escape before becoming corrupted. Tommy and Tebo. Tommy met up with Bad and Ant as he was doing research on the egg and wanted to know where it was. They brought him down to the egg without a hazmat suit and attempted to convince him to touch the egg. He thought they were a bit weird but complied and stood on top of the egg unprotected. He felt no attraction to the egg and messed around pretending to hear the egg say offensive things when they prompted him. Realizing the Eggpire was serious, Tommy quickly left. Tommy later returned to Tebo, who had a vastly negative reaction to the egg. Bad and Ant tried to force them to sleep next to the egg. It almost worked, but Sam arrived and managed to break them out. Even though Captain Puffy wasn't there for most of it, she appeared for a split second to type, "Tommy, no!" in the chat when he went down unprotected. The plan. Ann and Bad met up in the meeting room to discuss being Puffy, whose protests had become more open to the egg. Sam and Puffy overheard them discussing the idea and confronted them. Bad told them how he and Aunt Frost had brought Tommy and Tubbo down with no protection. Unable to hide her true feelings, Puffy and Sam yelled at them for endangering children's lives. She brought up many points against the egg and refused to even consider joining the Eggpire. When it seemed they might come to a truce, Aunt Frost and Bad Boy Halo took off their disguises, revealing to the others they had been infected. Bad then pushed a button, causing Sam to fall through a hole in the floor and be trapped with the egg. They both then tried to kill Puffy, who fled to the Holy Land. Ann and Bad seemed unwilling or unable to cross the boundary into the Holy Land, and Puffy realized she was safe within those borders. She argued with them and demanded she had been undercover the whole time. She made a break for freedom and lost them and took refuge in her secret underground bunker. Mercenary. Punk was corrupted by the egg and told the Eggpire that he had a guy who could help them with their plans. He brought them to Purple's cave and introduced the Eggpire to Purple. They talked for a while before agreeing that Purple would trap Puffy in the same cage that Sam was trapped in earlier. If she didn't agree, Purple could kill her. Purple didn't trust him, but once he was given an advance payment, he agreed. The Eggpire also wanted to introduce him to a friend, which is heavily implied to be the egg. Purple never fulfilled his side of the deal for reasons unknown to the Eggpire at the time. An infiltrator. After Sam was trapped with the egg, he was freed by Puffy and Tommy, but was found in a greatly weakened state. Sam decided he would infiltrate the Eggpire due to this imprisonment. He acted as if he turned into a devout follower of the egg, asking what the egg was telling them. Ultimately, all he needed to do was to gather information for the loose resistance spearheaded by Puffy. Pearl Omelet. Bad Boy Halo knew that Technoblade would be a powerful ally, but a worse adversary if Puffy was able to contact him first. To throw her off, he planted an anonymous letter about anarchy in Puffy's base, implying that Techno reached out first. Puffy believed this letter to be from Techno and did not reach out further to him. Bad came to Technoblade on behalf of the Eggpire and invited him to come and see the egg. Unbeknownst to him, Rambo followed them to see what was happening. They took a tour of the blood vines where Bad tried to show how beautiful their growth was. The three entered the egg room, but Bad was unaware that Puffy had figured out the trick and was waiting for them. Techno heard the egg, but the voices in his head drowned it out and he couldn't understand it. Puffy interrupted them and talked to Techno, pointing out how suspicious the situation was. Bad saw Rambo hiding and tried to convince him to join. Rambo almost stood on the egg out of peer pressure, but Techno talked him out of it. Bad took him to Eggpire HQ to talk further. Puffy covered the trapdoor in cobblestone so he wouldn't drop anyone down like they did to Sam. Although they let Bad talk, it was obvious that Techno and Rambo were not persuaded. Changing tactics, Bad attacked Puffy, destroyed the cobblestone covering the trap, and dropped Rambo down the hole. He then fled while Techno and Puffy panicked. When Bad returned, Rambo was out of the egg but wasn't doing well. He thought about fighting the others, but the rest of the Eggpire hadn't shown up, so he let them leave. Techno, now fully against the egg, joined Puffy and made the resistance against the Eggpire official and called their side pro-omelet. Hannah. Bat and Ant went to Hannah's house and discovered Sam and Hannah clearing out blood vines. They asked why and were told that Hannah was allergic to the egg and the vines had to be removed for her safety. They attempted to turn Hannah, but she was adamant that the egg was a bad thing. Bat then convinced her to come and see why the egg was hurting her, and Sam didn't come with them. Hannah got even more sick as they approached the egg, and could not enter the egg room without planting roses around her. The egg told the Eggpire not to hurt her as it liked Hannah, and Bat and Ant trapped her in an obsidian box above the egg. The next day, Puns, Ant, and Bat came down to the egg to find Hannah gone and the obsidian destroyed. They headed to her house and discovered her house had been completely covered in vines and that the color had been leached out. But Sam was there burning the blood vines. He claimed to have no idea where she was, and was burning the blood vines to help with her allergy when she came back. They left the house unaware that Hannah was hiding inside. Banquet invites. On April 7, 2021, Bad Boy Halo began to remove some of the vines due to the negative image of the Eggpire. On the same day, Bad Boy Halo and Aunt Frost revealed that they were planning an event in the egg statue room known as the Red Banquet and claimed it was a peace offering. They sent out the invites the same day, starting with Sam and Foolish, who agreed to go but were suspicious. Then they asked Puffy, who eagerly agreed to join them as she believed that her friends were falling back to normal. Once it was over, Bad told Ant that everyone who came to the Red Banquet would have a new perspective on everything. Over the span of about a week leading up to the banquet, the Eggpire invited other members of the server to come. Aaron was invited by Bad as an honorary guest, and they promised to dress up for the occasion. Sapnap was invited by Bad as well, who agreed to come as Bad as his father. Hannah was fixing up her house to hide weapons in the walls for Pearl Omelette when Ant showed up and invited her to the banquet. She at first denied due to being scared of the egg room, but eventually accepted because Pearl Omelette wanted her there. Later, Puns and Bad discovered Quackity placing TNT down around the egg and within a series of labyrinthine tunnels near it. They demanded that Quackity stop and hand over the explosives, but were unable to prevent them from going off. After this event, Bad spent more time reinforcing the egg, making it so that explosions could not damage it. Puns did not appear for some time after this event, and supplied by the explosions it needed to recover. Red Banquet. Many individuals, including Puffy, Foolish, Eric, Sam, and Hannah, attended the Red Banquet hosted by the Eggpire. It was, however, revealed to be a trap, and they planned to sacrifice the guests to the egg. Puffy set up a contingency plan, con- contingency plan, but it was sabotaged by Hannah, who revealed herself to be on the Eggpire side. Foolish was slain by Aunt Frost, who accused Puffy of allowing the Eggpire to process this far by abandoning their cause at the beginning. Before they could continue, however, Quackity broke into the dining hall, accompanied by Techno and Purple. Quackity stealthily handed Puffy an axe as he assessed the situation. Bad accused Purple of betraying them, but Purple simply responded that Quackity had the better price. Further, Bad was incredulous that Techno was working with his greatest enemy in Quackity. But Techno explained that he was willing to work with Quackity to bring the Eggpire's control down, even if he didn't like it. As they spoke, Puffy attacked Aunt Frost with the axe given by Quackity, killing him. In the ensuing battle, Bad, Punk, and Hannah were forced to retreat. Aftermath. The surviving members of the Eggpire were deeply shaken by the events, as it meant that they had lost access to their egg. Each of them went into hiding and had planned to meet up back soon. After the Red Banquet happened, the egg itself would be contained by Awesome Dude and the Eggpire, as the faction would go inactive. All members of the Eggpire would go presumably missing, with the exception of Punk. Since then, there has been no lore on the egg, and the various events that had happened after the containing of the egg, mainly with the prison. And Sandberg has proven that although the egg still had influence on people affected by the egg, such as Hannah, the egg no longer had full control over its subjects, such as when Hannah would be allowed to join Sam to run his bank despite being her former enemy. In state of confusion and Bad and Aunt Frost apologized to Captain Puffy for their actions. The Eggpire's affection will probably be disbanded and defunct at some point in the future, during the lore probably after the creation of Sandberg. Future. Note these events occur in the future and not in the present where the Eggpire still exists. Aunt Frost ran to Captain Puffy and apologized for killing Foolish and Puffy in turn apologized for killing Ant. They went to Bedbar Halo and got him to Foolish. During the they were going to kill Aaron instead of Foolish.